wait, are you recording from when you said "and" or from when I said "record"?
Oh man, I mean that's George work.
And that was "I'm So Tired" by Lauv and Troy Sivan. I tell you what, lads, I'm not so tired of your wonderful music. I'm Damien Benedict. Who are you?
I'm George Schmidt. Hello.
Hi. Do you know what? I was expecting you to flounder, but also go, "I'm Damien Benedict," and I had a whole gag about, well, this is going to be racist, but never mind.
Oh, fuck.
We'll just do it like that. So, George,
take two.
How's your centre part? Whoa.
In light of well, the movie that we are just about to discuss, I fashioned it into a delightful ponytail.
Yes. I mean, they're the best ponytails that are made from hair that just come from around the head. I think even if I had hair
that's how
on
you
the
get the longest.
Yeah,
that's how you get the longest ponytail.
That's how you get the longest ponytail. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's only buffed by hair coming out of your ears. That's the only thing that could possibly make a ponytail like that even more powerful. If I had hair on the top of my head, I still wouldn't use that in my ponytail. That would just be sort of like there, you know, like an eraser sort of thing. And I'd just use the hair from around my head, you know. The problem, yeah, I'm in this weird sort of Jason Statham place where I don't really have enough baldness to actually be bald in the middle. So then I've got this choice, right? Of do I just shave my head and wait for that, or do I actually like take a bic but just to the middle of the head so I can grow the sides out? Because I'd have to get that right, otherwise that would look weird.
Reverse mohawk, but with no breadth to it whatsoever.
Reverse mohawk, so it's not rounded or anything. It is just like I've taken a fucking wide razor and done like one stripe down my head. But like, until I did that, I wasn't bald at all.
It's only a 3-inch stroke as well, so it doesn't even reach the back of the head. It's really fucked up.
It's like a Friar Tuck, but made by a robot that was capable of a single action.
All the while, you know, you've been trying to nurture this ponytail you're talking about, taking the Medoxanil to your ears. And granted, you know, it's working, you know, for like a hair growth drug, but you've only really reached like 3 inches, and it's just nowhere near the fucking length you need to kind of tie it back there. You look fucking ridiculous. Yeah. Absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no one's going to believe that money is too tight to mention until I get it right down my spine. But saying all that, out of both of us, even with that, I still wouldn't have the most embarrassing haircut. Because only one of us had hair that went past our nipples.
Well, I would say that's not really a haircut.
Hair that was
an absence of haircut.
No, because it was right. Because you've got to imagine this. You've got to imagine Damien with super long hair. It looks like it was straightened daily. Right? It just fell. There was no volume to it. It just fell. You look like Curly from Coronation Street. And so any old women from Britain who are at least 50 years old, they'll have got that joke, all right?
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure they're pussy.
Do you know what I hate? I hate the gelatin around pork pies. You know, in between the actual sort of pie and the pork. The gelatin.
Yes, no, I think it's fucking disgusting as well, until I realised it's supposed to serve as a reminder that you're supposed to heat these motherfuckers up rather than eat them straight out of the packet, not even before you've left Sainsbury's to walk back to school.
Right, but I bought a pate the other day and the same thing was on top. You're not meant to heat pate.
No, you're not, but I think that's put there for another reason. To seal in freshness, maybe?
All I can think of is, like, that's the sort of ectoplasm they put chunks of meat in for dogs, isn't it?
You're precisely right. That's exactly what they get it from.
Yeah.
Except in terms of pate,
that's where they get it from. Like they buy a tin of dog food to get the jelly out, and then they just throw the dog food away. Basically,
yeah, they just press it. That's how you get a nice little terrine mold. That's what you do. I guess what they'll do is they'll warm up the dog food first, so the gelatin becomes a liquid state, and they can just pipe that on all nicey. It'll obviously, seek out all the crevices and what you press that and you get a perfect shape. But that is, yeah. I mean, that's what goes on. I mean, I know. I'm in the business, my friend.
Yeah, of pork.
Skin you're in.
And worth the extra. Oh boy.
Pork and most definitely animal shortening.
What does that mean? Animal shortening?
Oh, animal shortening is just animal fat. It's just a more polite term for shit they've rendered out in a huge fucking pan, invariably gelatin and fat.
Well, why shortening Why is shortening politer than saying fat? I mean,
like
shortening just made me think that there's a donkey there and it's just stood in a room that is covered in ceramic tiles, just waiting with its little hat that its ears are poking through, thinking it's going to get a carrot, and then just some terrible circular saw comes and just takes the bottom foot of it off. That's not polite.
Oh, so you're talking about literally shortening the animal?
Well, that's the word. With fat, I know what that is.
Well, that's the whole point. It's there to misguide because they put animal shortening in many products where you wouldn't expect to find animal fat. Mm-hmm. So they put shortening on the packet so it disarms people, basically. Yeah. Famously, like Twinkies have a lot of animal fat in them, but they put shortening so people don't go, ugh, that's fucking revolting. Yeah. What are you doing to me, man?
Yeah, they only do that after they've fucking bitten into it. Okay.
But at that point, they've made a sale, so they don't give a fuck.
I mean, I have many questions about you knowing what a Twinkie is. But before that, here is a list of products with animal shortening. I was going to say adult shortening. With animal shortening.
Jaffa Cakes. Walker's Barbecue Crisps.
Oh.
Mini Milkers. Banana flavour. Eggs.
I looked at a note and it just said Thor Ragnarok on it. Is that a food? Sorry, excuse me, madam. I asked for rice Ragnarok. I don't know what this is. Seems to be a large blonde man.
Oh, so you're saying it was previously frozen?
Well, I mean, if we're honest, this is just about selling hip tang.
How many cases have you shifted, by the way? Must be fucking buzzing at this point.
Yes, yeah, especially the Ultra Paradise flavour. People love that. I can't believe I got the estate of John Candy to release the likeness of his image on the side of it. John Candy would have loved hip tang.
See if you can find a nice dishevelled picture where he looks quite unbecoming.
Oh, yeah. So I'll be like, hi, the estate of John Candy. I was wondering if I could use a likeness of John Candy on his deathbed for an advert. Sorry, what did you say?
I don't see why they would ever have a fucking problem with that. He's still making people laugh after a million years of being dead.
We're like, oh, well, I guess getting that photographer in to take all those photos of John Candy on his deathbed really did pay off, didn't it, Sheila?
I mean, I guess it's going to be quite devastating when you find out they didn't actually do that. Would you move to have the corpse unearthed? I mean, every time you talk shit here, people don't realise that for you it's actually quite damaging if we can't corroborate this stuff. So you do furiously jam up Wikipedia as soon as you put the phone down.
Yeah, I'm in with James Randi because I told him that I'm one of those people that is affected by this weird genome that means I can't lie. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he said, well, everything you said could be true. And I was like, yes, it could. Could be. And then he touched his beard and he went, bloody hell.
I'm so glad you said beard.
Yeah, sorry. Have you met her? So listen, before I forget, well done to everybody who won the competition last week. Obviously, we're doing twins. Before we start twins, I am going to read a line from the film we're going to be talking about next time. See if you can guess what movie this line is from. I too am having much loneliness. Do you know it?
No, I don't. Not at all. Please don't quiz me on this stuff anymore because I'm never going to get it.
Okay.
Oh, it tickles me. I too am suffering much loneliness.
I too am having much loneliness.
And am having much loneliness.
Yeah. Write a comment.
Can't tell who you're talking to.
Yeah, who am I talking to? Yeah, you hung up ages ago. Okay, well, listen, before we start talking about twins, there is something I wanted to tell you about. A tiny story, but something that infuriated me. I got a phone call on my cell phone the other day. I have a cell phone, that's right. Picked it up and said, hello, and the person on the other end said something like, hello, this is Sharon from Ace Debt Collector Agency. thank you for picking up. Am I talking to Jim Smith? And I said,
Okay.
no, I think you've got the wrong number. And do you know what she said? She said, you're not Jim Smith. And I said, no, you've got the wrong number. And she said, oh, okay. Do you know him? What the fuck? Do I know him? Yeah. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
The research end of that place could do with a bit of fluffing.
What? I mean, what was the plan? I mean, if... Yeah, I do. Yes, I do, actually. I do know Jim.
The plan was obviously to deputise you, you know. I'm sure they
shall I
could have
take a
made it
message?
official over the phone.
Yeah. We're gonna send you. We're gonna send you a little file. Just press print. A gun will come out. I don't have a printer. A gun will come out.
No, it's just a little badge that you can kind of cut out, you know, and presumably have your own safety scissors.
Yeah.
You go to the kitchen, kitchen drawers where you keep the cutlery and what have you. For some reason, you inexplicably have sellotape in there, but you take it out anyway. Tape it to your fucking
Important
fucking
to
tits.
note. Important to note with the badge though that it does not give you the authority to push people about until you colour it in.
See, that's where they won't help out. You're gonna have to spring for your own Crayolas, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'll say it was Crayola, but I'll just use one of those Family Dollar brand, you know, one of those ones that's made out of, you know, fucking like stamped ash.
Well, that I think is a grave mistake, because obviously what you colour it in with, the colour will indicate your rank. I don't know. So if you're prepared to
like a Dalek.
really go to like, so if you're prepared to go to like one of those nice craft stores and really spring for like one of those gold pens which cost like $5 a pop, you know, like the metallic fucking inks and stuff like that, that will really cement your fucking place. You know?
Debt collector
basically.
general, then.
I mean, if you saw another guy, he's got his little badge, you can, you know, if he lacks the gold, anything up below, you know, he's basically your bitch. Presumably the end of this story is you tracking people down in the city centre, right? And you find like a nice ring of people that have also been harangued into this terrible fucking situation.
Well, that would have happened, but I had to change the wheel on my Segway.
And that is a much more interesting story. Do tell.
I bet they are hard to change, aren't they?
I imagine it's just a write-off, you know.
I bet just go straight into the fucking canal after that.
I mean, I was
fucking
going to say
flip it in.
bonfire, but you know, you're definitely, you know, you're showing your roots with that one. I'm afraid.
I love the idea. Fucking love the idea of having a Segway, and it just the wheel gets slightly damaged and just like flipping it with the foot into the. Fuck that then. Fuck off.
Into just over the fucking road into traffic.
Imagine just
you know, straight through the windscreen.
Just having enough disposable income to just be like, oh fuck that.
Couldn't ride a bike like that to save my fucking life.
You
but
can't ride a bike though, can you?
I can't ride a bike at all. No. Like, well, I mean, definitely no. I mean, I shouldn't try to. No, I can't. I'm fucking useless.
Could you balance on a bike?
Yeah, I could do all that. I just haven't ridden one since I was like 7.
Oh, you could still ride it though. Have you never heard that expression? Wearing high heels is something you don't forget.
Actually, that I am a little bit more familiar with.
Yeah, right.
If you sub women's heels with women's underwear. I've never forgotten how to do that.
What makes it a woman's underwear? Just the fact, the fact that it really does have no room for a cock and balls.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was going to say the complete lack of functionality.
I don't know, dude. I've got quite a lot of men's underwear that has a complete lack of fucking functionality. Really can see that buying cheap underwear is no longer a fucking viable path for me.
It is a false economy, isn't it?
It is a false economy. Like fucking 3 pieces of underwear for £5. That's not bad. And then you realise,
bargain,
oh,
snap
Jesus.
it up.
Yeah.
Because like 2 weeks later, you've worn it out a little bit, and you just have your fucking nutsack hanging out this one surprisingly
There's a hole.
small. You don't really know how they fucking popped out, but when you're fucking you're halfway back from the fucking corner shop, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake! And you've got to do something about it, because you know at any point you're going to take one wrong step, and that's going to be it. You know,
It's more like
whatever's left of them.
This underwear is made out of the black oil from the X-Files, and it just cannot wait to fucking find its way up my arse.
Fucking hell. What a fucking nightmare image that is. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
For so many reasons.
Thank God it's attached to the elastic. It's the only thing keeping it back. It's not elastic though. It's like a medieval fucking like chastity belt. It's like a chain.
I was going to say, I just love the idea of you keeping your fucking pants on a leash.
That's what my underwear is. It's a belt that goes around my hips, and it's essentially just like a loincloth hanging off the belt, but the loincloth is sentient.
And it vies for its freedom at every possible opportunity. I have to say, Damien, it's a bit of a fucking nuisance. Every other fucking minute, it's fucking rumpus with this fucking thing, and I can't be doing with it.
But it's true, isn't it? It is a false economy. It's like buying really cheap toilet paper. It's never worth it.
No, of course not. The temptation is always there, but I mean, I've made the mistake of doing that, and you may as well be wiping your ass with sandpaper.
Like, it must be like that in prison. Do you think they have toilet paper in prison?
I mean, do they fucking deserve it?
I'd just use Rolf Harris's fucking face, if I'm honest.
What an interesting pull for famous guy in prison.
It's just, I think he's out now. Yeah.
Is he? I don't know. I just presumed he died in there. Oh, we get to play Is That Celebrity Dead then?
Well, we should do a jingle. Do a jingle then.
Welcome to Is That Celebrity Dead?
Forever.
No, he's still very much alive.
Is that what it says? Is that the actual diagnosis? Very much alive.
Yeah, there's a webpage. Rolf Harris, very much alive. .nz. Someone is quite
nasty.
invested. Someone's quite invested in the Antipodes, I see. I'm on the Sky News website, and the first picture it's come up. It's like, that's a fucking weird moustache. I mean, that surely alarm bells are ringing when someone does that to their fucking face.
Well, I guess people would have said that, and in the past people have been like, Jimmy Savile wasn't a paedophile, and he looks weirder.
He doesn't have a moustache.
He doesn't have a moustache. Yeah.
I guess that's right there.
I see what you mean. It's almost like there are two caterpillars trying to get into his nostrils at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to. My angle was that it's highlighting exactly where the Hitler moustache would go. Really.
Oh, so it's sort of like place Hitler moustache here.
Yeah, kind of. And it's kind of like it will gently cradle it once you pop it in, like a jigsaw piece.
What if Hitler had that moustache, but he'd had a chin-strap beard as well?
I mean, I'm sure that would look a chin-strap beard to their fucking tits.
The Holocaust would never have happened because, from day one, people would have been like, from Hitler being a young man, people would be like, that Hitler guy's really cool. Look at his moustache, and he wouldn't have felt the need to be a dick.
Well, exactly. No, I mean, if he had a fucking good chin strap like that, he'd have been too busy crushing ass all over fucking.
Helmut, come back here!
They always talk about going back. In
Hitler
time
says to a
Hitler
tiny little dachshund. No, completely separate image. He wasn't bumming it or anything. I just want to,
Too fucking late. It's perfect. Fucking perfect.
Do you know why sausage dogs exist? Like, you know why they were bred to look like that?
Do tell.
They were bred to hunt badgers.
Badgers?
Yeah, and they're that shape so they can go into badger sets and kill badgers.
But badgers are like twice the size. Do they not see the error in the design here?
Well, this is a critical component of hunting, right? And this is a bit of a trade secret I'm going to let you into. The trick is you and this is the technical term, you absolutely fucking outnumber them.
But I mean, again, if they're trying to, if the idea is they're bred to fit into the warrens and what have you, surely they can't overwhelm them. It's got to be one at a time. I don't imagine as soon as you breach that threshold that what the badger has made for itself is an incredibly lush, spacious fucking 3-bedroom fucking warren down there.
But luckily the dachshund has like a little L torch, a torch that sort of like a plumber would have, and a handgun, and a little helmet.
Oh, so what we've skipped over is that if you. I mean, I've never owned a dachshund, but clearly you have. What I haven't realised is that,
it was Hitler's dachshund.
Is that they've been bred to have thumbs as well, opposable thumbs, just very tiny, but enough that they can operate a very small handgun.
Yeah, and the ability to hold their arm in front of them. You see, that's where dogs are going wrong, isn't it? More before,
elbows.
Before we even get onto the fucking opposable thumb thing, they can't even, no, they just don't, no. I'm saying no for dogs.
I mean, you obviously have to draw them out if you can only send one Dachshund in at a time, because they just, Dachshund sticks its head in, the badger's going to take a right fucking chunk out of it. It's gone. It's a write-off. And so if there's no hope of overwhelming it, you have to draw it out. And if that's the case, why would you overwhelm it with fucking Dachshunds? You may as well be there with, like, Turkish Shepherds and a fucking blunderbuss. Instead, point the barrel, like, in the fucking warren, right? And just make sure there's no usable meat left.
It's like
job done.
It's like two Germans in 1850, like lederhosen in the middle of a forest, looking at these holes in the ground, and one being like, fucking badgers. Okay, Sven, bring a concrete here. Cement mixer backing up, and them just fucking filling these things.
And they pull it out of the ground, and it makes this beautiful art.
They fill it with copper. And then they pull it out and say, like, yeah, big ants made this.
Fucking fat-ass hairy ants.
fucking... Yeah, that's what badgers are. They're just fucking fat-ass hairy ants. And now it's time for... What line is this movie from? Or something. Which is going to give it away to Damien. The line is, may I have these, craphead? May I have these, craphead?
Oh, dear.
So now the first line makes a lot more sense to you, doesn't it? I too am having
Flim flam.
I too am having much loneliness, said a very white man. Give me a hug.
Oh, does that mean I have to watch it again for next time round?
What do you mean again? You've never seen it all the way through.
Not sober, no.
Well, I've definitely seen it all the way through, but I've never seen Sinjin all the way through. I've only ever seen the beginning, and the end.
I see Sinjin is quite nice, actually.
No, it's terrible.
No, I mean, in terms of our history, that's like a nice little gem, because we've watched loads of these like movie review shows online and what have you, and no one has ever touched Sinjin. I mean, I've seen loads on Best of the Worst now that's, fucking, it's out of nowhere, but never has Sinjin fucking done. That feels like it's for us. No one knows Sinjin.
The thing about Sinjin, though, is it's, like we've said before, I just have nothing to say, dude. If you can get joy out of those movies, then good for you. I could at one point, but not now. And Sinjin is like you say, it's got this special place in our heart because it's the first movie I ever saw priced for less than £1. It was only 50p, and which was
remarkable. It
was dreadful, but also it's not a movie like most of them. Most of them aren't movies where it's funny bad. They're just shit.
They're very, very hard work. Didn't we do the maths? And it took us 4 separate viewings before we could really say that we'd seen all of the movie.
I don't think I have seen all of them. Yeah, I have seen it all, but
not in one sitting.
No.
I think we've managed to piece all of it together.
It's like looking through children's art, which we were doing the other day. And you sort of expect it to be like fun, like shit and funny. Like, haha, they've got the perspective wrong, and it looks like a cock and stuff like that. But actually, that's quite rare. Usually, it's just like, yeah, this is just the work of somebody who hasn't developed to a place where they can make good work yet. I could go up in space and go backwards around the Earth really fast, and it be future, and
it'd be future.
Me still be age I am, and it not matter because you 60% of my age always.
My God, can you not feel one side of your face? You might need to pick up the phone almost immediately.
I not felt face for many time.
But for a second there, there was a pang of worry. I mean, I was like, well, this wasn't a bit at first. What?
Are you talking about the podcast now? This is what the podcast should be called. This wasn't a bit at first, but we fucked it up. George fluffed the lines, and then we went with it. Ugh.
And here we are, for some reason, feeling like we're contractually obliged, even though neither one of us needs to do this.
54 episodes later.
Yeah, like 100 and fuck hours of this nonsense later.
Yeah, because what most people don't know is we usually record for about 7 or 8 hours to get
to really whittle it down to a fucking razor fucking edge. Oh yeah, we don't give you the guff. All right. We don't give you no guff.
We don't give you no guff. Welcome to the rockall-schmidt Show. Real talk.
We don't give you no guff.
So, there's a difference. There's a schism, people! I thought... Damien didn't like twins, did you? Tell us
No,
why
I
you
did
didn't
not.
like it.
I had a terrible problem with the soundtrack of all things. I guess I
Yeah,
really
okay.
didn't have a problem with the movie. It was very hokey in its kind of message. It's obviously very clean, which I kind of find insufferable in
Yeah.
a lot of cases.
By clean, you
But
mean it's promoting the idea that you can be good no matter who you are, and you're like, fuck that.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you know, Danny DeVito is obviously corrupted, and then if he learns the meaning of family, it's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I get it, but obviously, you knew from the outset that was going to be the case, but obviously there was so many beats that kept pointing you towards it. It's like, yeah, all right, fine. It's so sugary, which made it a bit much. But I mean, the thing that I really kind of struggled with, and it's the same thing with See No Evil.
Yeah.
It's just it's a soundtrack, and I cannot stomach those 80s electric pianos at all.
Well, it's funny because I also refer to See No Evil, Hear No Evil, because I felt that it suffered. I agree with you on the soundtrack, but that didn't really bother me. The problem I had with this movie was I thought the idea was good. I thought the opportunity for comedy was good, and I even thought that the characters and acting in this film were good. But like See No Evil, Hear No Evil, it just didn't go anywhere. It just sort of like had this idea, and then it's like, that's the movie. The movie is the idea.
Yeah, I would say it was definitely treaded water the whole time.
It did, yeah, because the idea essentially is that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Daniel Day-Lewis are twins. You didn't want to correct me there? Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
I said Daniel Day-Lewis.
Did I? Did
I-
you? Did
yeah.
I? Fucking hell. Sorry.
I can't feel the left side of your face. Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger are twins, and they're twins that were created essentially in an experiment that was trying to create more or less the perfect human. But instead of it creating one perfect human, it created a human who's very, very good and capable, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and a human that's meant to be a piece of shit, and that's Danny DeVito. And they meet each other when they're 40 and they sort of reconcile it. And it's sort of like a buddy movie where they're like the odd pair, but they're also brothers, and they teach each other things. And I thought there was some fucking really good acting in this movie from both of the leads. I genuinely think that Arnold Schwarzenegger is decent in this movie. This is the best movie he's been in. You know, as him, this is the best movie he's been in
For acting.
And
I thought he was pretty fucking. He was hot shit in Junior.
Junior. Well, don't worry, we will be fucking watching Junior. You can bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have said that, should
Yeah,
I? I
but-
should have kept my fucking mouth shut.
But no, I thought he was pretty decent in this, and I thought he was trying. And you see, I respect Arnold Schwarzenegger way more than other fucking meathead actors, if you like, because I think that he's never really tried to be an actor. I think he tries to be sort of charismatic and sort of fun. And
I agree.
But in this movie, he's trying to act, and he's doing a good job.
Every time you say he's acting, you can't say it without fucking chuckling. I don't think you really believe it. I got to be honest.
I mean, to be honest with you, he's sort of limited by that fucking accent and that face. I mean, he is freakish.
Well, it's really kind of shitty, but that's kind of why they picked both these guys, right?
Well, I don't mean it in a shitty way. I'm just being honest. I mean, he's fantastically strong and everything, and all of that. And I don't think he's ugly exactly or anything, but he's a weird looking man, and he's sort of limited by that, if nothing else. And
well, the one thing that I would just see like the title twins, and I just thought, yeah, fine, they're twins. It's just kind of this oddball.
Yeah, and there is a bit of that.
Oh no, I mean totally. But
yeah.
what I didn't really I didn't fucking clock until I watched it earlier this afternoon is that basically everything is set up on this idea of this eugenics experiment, which is just fucking nuts.
Nuts, yeah.
Which I did nothing with. I mean, that could have easily been fleshed out. I mean, obviously, at the end of they talk about being on the hunt for for their mum, and obviously Danny DeVito's got his own thing going on, what have you. And they talk about these 6 dads that are going to track down. They just do nothing with it. I mean, it's the
same as See No Evil, Hear No Evil. It's a premise. That's the premise where one man's blind, one man's deaf. Can they work together? What will they work together on? Jewel movie heist. Microchip. It's lazy. It's sort of, movies are very lazy now. Movies were very lazy then. It's just sort of a different laziness, I guess.
Yeah, I just think they should have dispensed with the whole kind of family fun frolic bullshit, and then just kind of focus more on that kind of, that sci-fi element. Because I kind of want to know what the political climate must have been in that cinematic universe where they felt the need to kind of breed the perfect human being.
Arnold Schwarzenegger plays this character in this movie that has never been to anything like modern society. He's lived in like a science bubble for 40 years. He's never had sex. He's never had a girlfriend. He's never really had a conversation with somebody who isn't a scientist. That's fucking wrong.
It is fucking... It's weird. Like, someone like that would be fucking fascinating. And, like, one of the... If they wanted to kind of portray any of these kind of situations in a vaguely real capacity, if there was this mystery baby... One, I don't believe that, some kind of government science project wouldn't have ultrasound technology. So the second baby shouldn't have been a surprise for anybody. But surely if they figured out that it was the genetic garbage, I don't see why they would have put the baby up for adoption. They just they just mercy flushed it as soon as they fucking got their hands on it. So I want to know why they preserved Danny DeVito. What did they see in his future? What was the relevance there?
And also, there's like a lot of animosity towards Danny DeVito from some of those scientists. And
they fucking hate him. They do not sugarcoat it, and it's why?
Why? Like you've already said, he had the worst genes. Like if anything, it's sort of like God. You've actually done pretty well for yourself, Danny DeVito. To to be honest,
you say like really bad genes. Like we expected you to have several
cancers,
fucking tumors.
Yes,
yeah, to be consumed by it before you turn 20. The fact that you were alive,
the whole thing.
I mean, granted, you're a little bit short, but fucking hell. You got a bit of vim and vigor in you, my good chum. Good for you.
Oh, I expected you to be in jail. Like, in fairness, he's a small-time crook at worst. He's not touching anybody. He's not hurting anybody, really. He's a bit of a dick, but actually he's sort of cool. He was cool to his brother. Fuck off, judging Danny DeVito, you prick.
Yeah, that's always the fucking mistake. You're only going to look foolish when you come against him. Everybody loves him for fucks. Fucking hell.
Yeah, but it is very righteous when Arnold gets mad for Danny DeVito and slams that fucking Ron ham right into that doctor's face.
They just fleshed out the wrong parts, and what they fleshed out, they did fuck all with, really. Because I would have liked it if, there was all... they go on this quest to kind of reunite with their 6 fathers, right? And it's more of a fucking TV show at this point. It's quite, it's a long fucking arc. And they find out there's this big fucking conspiracy. That's why they separate the twins. Someone got in the ball. They find, they find their 6 dads, and they realize, once they know that they're alive, they try to get them back together. The dads have this idea with they've got this like Cronenberg machine. They try to get the fucking twins through it to kind of create this ungodly monster, which was like the whole purpose of the experiment in the first place. I mean, there was just more to go with there. And
so is this Cronenberg machine something you just step in and when you come out, you're just a fucking monster?
Oh well, no, they're gonna fucking super collide them, like the fucking Fly.
Right.
So they fucking throw in, Arnie and fucking
Frank
and fucking Frank, yeah. And they,
See, now you're saying Frank, I'm thinking of Frank Sidebottom again.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! That just came flooding back to me. Oh my good God!
So they collide. So what they do is they collide Arnold Schwarzenegger and Frank Sidebottom.
It's Frank Sidebottom now.
So it ends up with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he's almost the same, except he's got Hey Arnold's head.
I was going to say, no, he comes out almost exactly the same. Maybe a couple of inches taller, but he just has Danny DeVito's face lodged in his fucking chest, growing out. But for some reason, Danny DeVito's face is half the size. It's just really small in between his pecs.
Well, no, No, okay. So now what I'm thinking is the way. Okay, so the way it merges them. Maybe this is sort of what you're saying. I'm struggling to form the image of what you're saying there. Are you talking about then that it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's body up until about the sort of mid rib cage, and that's when like Arnold Schwarzenegger's upper rib cage sort of becomes Danny DeVito's lower rib cage. So Danny DeVito's like on top of Arnold Schwarzenegger, but almost sort of like a snake.
So he's kind of like hanging out, as it were.
So it's almost like maybe like Arnold Schwarzenegger's shoulders are still sort of coming out of Danny DeVito's mid to upper rib cage. So Danny DeVito has his arms, and then below them immediately are Arnold Schwarzenegger's arms. So Arnold Schwarzenegger's basically intact, except his head, which presumably is inside Danny DeVito. What I'm more or less saying is Danny DeVito is sat on Arnold Schwarzenegger's head.
And just kind of melted down.
But the legs are a non-starter. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay, that's an interesting image.
Yeah.
And
it's him versus Mark Wahlberg with the fucking dwarves on his legs.
Fight.
That's not fair. It's 2 against 3.
All right, we're going to have to get some Marky Mark through the fucking Cronenberg machine. No.
Oh no, because we're going to put. Okay, so that's the combo, right?
We put
so it's Frank Sidebottom and Schwarzenegger on one side, and then Marky Mark and the 2 dwarves on the other side.
Yes. So we need to So we got fucking DeVito and fucking Schwarzenegger. We need to get a third person that can be the fucking Sidebottom.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. Yes, Frank Sidebottom. Listen.
Oh man, you said nothing about fucking DeVito, man. I got lost.
Did you say the Sidebottom thing?
The Sidebottom thing. Yes, I said that as a few minutes ago.
I mean, I like to think then that when it does meld them all together, it's just exactly what I said. It's just that Danny DeVito's wearing that mask, and the actual person in the Frank Sidebottom mask has just gone. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger's just got a bit more blood inside of him now.
Doesn't necessarily expand the mass. Just just a blood pressure. He's very, very, very red now.
There's a famous.
It always looks like he's just finished like a 20k run.
There's a famous review of one of his movies saying that he looks like a condom full of walnuts. Yeah, that is right, but it's also like a condom full of walnuts and blood.
God, what a despicable fucking image.
I'm not saying he's not a good person.
I'm just thinking about condoms filled with blood and walnuts. I'm going to see if I can't Google that.
You'll definitely find shit with bloody condom, dude. Don't, We've already established that you are a naive Googler.
Yes, of course. No, I've just got walnuts so far. Very disappointing.
Type in shattered testicles.
Fuck off. No fucking way.
You want to, though, don't you? You really want to.
Oh, more than anything else, but I won't.
Oh, imagine.
I enjoy my innocence.
Imagine there's an image on the second line, about 3 in. Oh, God. And you know what it is, but you have to click on it to enlarge it still. You know it's not going to
You've got it up.
No, I haven't. I haven't even typed it in. No, but I know exactly where. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be something where you know what it is, and you'll always remember it anyway. It's already made its indelible mark into your brain. But it hasn't really registered how disgusting it is. And there's something about it which you can't fucking resist. There's something about it where you just have to not only like enlarge it, you have to like make sure your eyes go all over this image. You take it all in. Because if you don't understand everything you can, if you don't absorb everything, then you'll just be thinking about it like, well, what if it was this? What if it was this? No, you have to know. It's like that time we Googled bizarre and I spelt bizarre wrong. I was about 15, right? And we Googled bizarre in Google, and one of the first images that came up with was someone's vagina filled with cigarettes. And it was a tiny thumbnail. It was like 100 by 200 pixels, and we couldn't enlarge it. And we knew what it was, but it was like, how the fuck does that even work? And we couldn't enlarge it to like discover what the fuck it was. Like, please God, let it be like some novelty underwear or something. Please God, let it be that. But we knew it wasn't, but we could never verify it. And that's haunted me, that I could never fucking verify that.
Oh, dear. Well, I mean, there's a bit of a close second here, because I pulled the trigger. And it's a little bit more vanilla than you'd expect, actually.
We're talking shattered testicles, right?
Shattered testicles, that's what I put in. So obviously underneath the photo, it gives you a little bit of writing here. And what it reads is, lesson number 6, emergencies in pediatric urology. So that's what I've my mind has just absorbed.
Okay, but what is the image?
Well, two look like X-rays, and then you have a baby dick, and then in the next picture, the final picture, is that baby dick being cut open.
I don't know what I expected, to be honest. I don't know why I asked.
It's yeah. So there you go. I don't know. Didn't think I'd see a baby dick today, let alone that happening to it.
There's a movie I watched recently that has a baby dick in it for like a second. It's I can't remember what it is. It's something recent, I think. It's something. It's some fantasy movie or something that probably came out in the last 2 years. And there's a baby dick in that for a second, and I honestly thought, how the fuck did they get away with that? I guess there's nothing wrong with. Oh man, it's just offensively small. All right, that's it's just weird. It's just weirdly small. That's the problem. It's not that it's a baby's dick. It's that it's a small dick.
Yes. Can we go back? Can we just CG that baby with a bigger dick, please? He needs to look like a fucking titan. This baby. Listen, look, we know these babies are sexy, but what I'm saying is these babies could be sexier.
And that's where YouTube pulled the plug. They'd had their hand on the wire for quite a while, but just waiting for that.
Well, steal my candle and mail it to some Scottish listener in Brompton, if it isn't time for your horoscope. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. If you've been on the odds with a relative or close friend of late, culture some peacekeeping vibes. Inspire and cultivate an attitude of rapprochement. Take the high road and extend an olive branch of kindness and acceptance. They will appreciate the gesture, greeting you with open arms and what you assume is a smile, before falling to the floor, twitching uncontrollably in a dance of unbridled joy at your willingness to cast aside quarrels and bury hatchets, venting their bowels in a fit of joy before becoming completely motionless, their bodies failing them, in the face of your Christ-like calm and stoicism. As you stand over them, holding the branch, you will wonder if the cold-eyed man who sold you the tree limb was on the up and up. He was in quite the hurry. Funny name, Novichok. And you will wonder from where he hails. No point worrying about it now, however. Now is a time of action. Best you put a bit of stick about before the local bobbies catch wind of what has transpired. You'll have to bury the hatchet a few more times if you want your friend and or loved one to be easier to move. You always did say you loved them to pieces, didn't you? Fuck off, you goblin-faced harlequin. Sorry about that. Where were we? Ah, yes. Trouble on the home front. The disheveled vagrant who primarily resides behind the fried chicken delicatessen on your street will begin to violently rant at the mere sight of you, casting his arms about, pointing in what can only be accusation. He will plead desperately to those around to understand. You'll thank God for the twin-pronged lance of poor dentistry and substance abuse, for all around will fail to understand a word the poor man has to say. But pay heed, this could, however, still cramp your style. Though overall, he is unintelligible, it seems his ramblings assert various acts of carnal self-pleasure, glistening well-lubricated bodies, plectrums and frets, shimmering and undulating in the dead of night in an affront to God and decency. He only ever gets this way when you're around, points out your neighbour, that saccharine cunt, with his distinct accusatory yet questioning air. He's always been suspicious of you, though you've been nothing but neighbourly, if only he knew the truth. But you know what you did. You share a bond with this octogenarian street dweller, one he would sooner forget. You can see the poor vagrant in there beneath the glassy surface of those pleading eyes, screaming to forget that which you have inadvertently shared. You know why he is the way he is. You remember that evening as well as he. But you stare back indifferently. You refuse to take all the blame for this. It was 3 a.m, so you didn't think to hide your private dalliances from prying eyes. But the floor-to-ceiling windows of your living room would have proved quite the stage were one inclined to see. You wonder now if perhaps this is why Mrs. McGiggins from 23 across the way took her own life. Can your love truly be said to be this abhorrent? At any rate, it'll all come up roses for you in the end. The carpal tunnel you'll inflict on yourself that night will set you up with workers' comp for life, though your poor guitar may never hold a tune the same way again. Wait and see. Maybe the solution here is not less, but more. Maybe you'll try again tonight. Leave the windows open. Put on a rip-roaring show. Maybe seeing you again hunched over your trusty old Stratocaster will be all it takes to break the old man. That would be money for spare jam now, wouldn't it? Your lucky locale this week is Cheyenne Mountain. Your lucky time, 1 minute to midnight. And your lucky number is 000 000. That's 6 zeros. So dear listener, it is time for us to part again. Time for me to say goodbye and good luck. But before you go, might I just ask that you turn your key. I said,
Turn your key.
I don't know if it was because of the frequency of use or just a question of personal taste, but he then elaborated that it required more padding. It needed to be tighter. So I don't know where he got the padding from. Presumably there were other toys lying around.
Which he cannibalized.
Yeah, pretty much, and then just stuffed that up Garfield's ass, and then presumably fucked it right in there. And apparently, it worked a fucking charm.
Do you know what?
But I mean, Garfield had this horrible distended belly, but like the fucking head, you could tell how much he padded it because you could tell what the original shape of the doll must have been looking at Garfield's head. Now, Garfield's head was fucking sagging. I guess it would have been paltry to call it a stuffed toy to begin with. It would have been a very cheap fucking thing, but his belly was so horribly fucking distended. It's like he really fucking worked it in there. And I feel this would have happened in several fucking sessions, man. And I'm sure that stuffing in there would have been like fucking concrete with all the fucking cum that had fucking mashed up in there.
It's like I'm having this out-of-body experience where I've like suddenly got perspective on my life. And I've realised with you describing this, very accurately by the way, that this is incredibly weird, but at the same time, this is by nowhere near even like my top 20 weird stories or anything. This is just no, seriously, this is just another weird thing a weirdo that I knew did once. And I've realised that I've met people from, well, all around the world who have fucking weird stories, sort of like as weird as that. People are just kind of gross, aren't they?
They are.
Because that, in a way, that weirdness is sort of normal. Like, I bet lots of people do weird shit like that.
Oh, no doubt.
But I don't understand why fucking... I don't understand why fucking Garfield... I don't understand why that would be more pleasurable than just using your hand.
I don't know. Maybe he was... I hate to say the word. Maybe it was, in his mind, preparation. The simulated sex was helping him train. But in all fairness, we knew the guy. He was just fucking weird. I mean... I'm sure there was a logic to him, but it's not going to be... I don't think it'll ever be present to us. So maybe he just wanted to fuck Garfield.
There's no way I could do anything to Garfield. There's no way I could even like wipe my dick with Garfield and not think about Bill Murray's voice.
I mean, I think this precedes the Bill Murray movies, but you know, I'm convinced. I mean, he never specified face down, but maybe that's what I'm bringing to the table, because I think I could probably achieve that myself, but I couldn't have Garfield looking at me while I was doing it.
I mean, that would be quite an interesting Garfield panel, wouldn't it? Of just Garfield eating these leftover lasagnas, and John's just there having a wank in front of him, sort of not looking at him, just doesn't care. Just whatever.
Garfield's got his face in a little lasagna, his tail's up, and
it's
John's
just-
behind him, fucking
No,
it's
it's just John. That's what John's doing. It's just a cat. John doesn't care. John doesn't care if the cat sees him having a wank.
Well, I mean, it's a house pet.
It's a house pet. Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like millions of animals must have seen.
Oh, dear.
Oh yeah, human beings really do need to have their libidos turned off for a decade or two.
I think so,
You know,
yeah.
just so they can work
Solve a
some
lot of
things out.
problems.
What a weird conclusion to our conversation about twins.
Yeah, so that's twins, everybody. Thanks very much.
Stop doing sex. Oh, well, thank you very much. Bye.